Oh, crud. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Wait for some people to hop on. Welcome back to my channel. It's an Amber thing. I am Amber. Wow. I didn't feel like getting ready today, and I went out to lunch like this. And let's see if I can figure out a way to prop up this phone. Hold on, hold on. Let's see if this will work. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work. So who's on? Talk to me. I have to tell you guys a little story, something that just happened. I went to lunch with my kids and a friend of mine, and I walk into this pho restaurant, and lo and behold, there is a table. Let me see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people from my old Kingdom Hall were there. And let me tell you, Fresno, Clovis area, we're kind of big, not that big. I feel like I see people on a regular basis in the areas I go to, a lot of the same places. So I was not expecting this whatsoever. And I just was like, I need to tell you guys, because I like the way that I felt inside my body, like when I walked in and saw their faces. Hi. It was intense. Like, I don't know. I almost can't even explain like this nervous, like ugly energy inside my body as soon as I laid eyes on them. It was crazy. So I walk in, and right away I notice them, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, usually this restaurant is packed, and it was not that packed this time. So there was no way for us to really like not see each other. It's not that big of a restaurant. So I'm getting text messages now. Sorry, guys. Um, so I have the boys, and I walk in, and I find a table, and I sit down. I'm waiting for a friend of mine. And so we're kind of just sitting there, and I like pulled out my camera and started video recording. So I'll be able to throw that up later, but I kind of wanted to give like a preface to the video, because there isn't really a lot of talking on there, because like I was like, trying to just record. But it was a family, and I talked about this before. I would even have to go back and find the video, but I was talking, it was during, I'm gonna have to go back and look at it, because I want to put the link in the video at some point, because I talked about one of the girls that's on this video, and the fact that there was a ministerial servant, when I was going to that Kingdom Hall, who was getting a little too involved with this girl that was about 14 at the time, kind of crossing some boundaries. And so anyways, it was that girl was there. You'll see her in the video. And there's another sister. Mind you, I was in like tight with these people. The older man and lady that you'll see in the video, she has gray short hair. She had a baby later in life, and I was there for that when her little girl, I can't remember her name now, it's been so long, but her baby and almost passed away. They went into the hospital. I was there for that. Like, we were pretty close. I used to be with her daughters. Her older daughter is the one that's in the video that I'm telling you about, the 14-year-old. We used to hang out all the time. Like, hold on, I'm going to close this door because my kids are loud. I've talked about this a little bit before too, but I was always tried to be very involved with the teens in the Kingdom Hall, because as we all know, growing up as one of Jehovah's Witnesses is shitty. You can't do anything without supervision. Your life is just pretty much boring. There's, going to the mall just with your friends is like a big ordeal. Being able to go to the movies with your friends is a huge ordeal. I mean, just everything is, hey, Linda, everything is just a huge ordeal. So I remembered that from when I was growing up in the org. and I would take an interest in the teens and try and get them out, trying to get them to, doing things, trying to go like to the mall and take them to the movies and go to the beach and have, slumber parties and sleepovers and just to do fun stuff for them. And that's kind of at a point like, hi, Michelle, where we had that the family, the woman that you're going to see with the short gray hair and her husband, the mother of these teens that I'm talking about that I would, take an interest in. We kind of like had a little bit of falling out because I would spend time with the girls and, they would come and do stuff with us. They would want to come over and bake cookies and cook and, do whatever they wanted to spend time with somebody who was okay with listening to music and bumping music in the car and, just being fun, because nobody in the org is very much fun. So we had a little bit of a falling out because the mother came to me at one point and she's like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're weird. Something's weird about you that you're taking an interest in the teens. Like, what's the deal? And like, I really didn't have anything to say to that, but made me feel very small. And I was just like, okay, whatever. We don't have to really be friends anymore. Let me see, what is that? Right. Yes, that's true. Thank you. I was out, I was with my boys, I was having a good time. Um, but so we had kind of had a falling out at that point. Like we didn't really like, hang out too much anymore. And then shortly after that is when I had gotten some information about the girl that you're going to see with the longer hair in the video. That she was, her and this ministerial servant were becoming very close and were starting, they would confide in me a lot. And, when you're in the org, you are basically instructed to tell everything that you know and everything, about everybody. Like they have a tattletale system. So I wasn't really one of those kind of people who wanted to be a part of that. Because I had experienced a lot of things like when I was younger with the whole tattletale system with my parents. And so I would really kind of stay out of that, except for when this started taking place with this young girl and this ministerial servant that was much, much older. I had to bring it to the attention of the elders. But let me say this family that you're about to see also is very tied in. I think I even mentioned that on the video as I'm taking the video, but that they're very tied in. Like, when you're in the organization that there are certain people that are very cliquey and that they're very tied into the higher ups, the elders or the overseers, or, there's a group, they'll be like very close to one another. And this family is one of those families that is very tied in. So nothing ended up coming of it, because if you're related to or close friends to any of the elders who are tied in, then you're pretty, you kind of coast, like you can just get away with anything. So nothing really ended up coming of that situation because they were tied in and they kind of like talked amongst each other as families and worked it out without there being much else that happened. And there was another woman there. You'll see her. She has like her hair is kind of up, and she's sitting, I think, let's see, on the left side of the table. And it's really weird because I've seen this couple out one other time, and it was a really long time ago, and this sister was with them, and it's really kind of an odd pairing. Like they never, when I was a part of the organization, I never had seen them together at all. This one woman was like really like the family. I know it's so hard for me because I can't say names and like, but the family, they were more like they had money and they were very snooty and they were tied into the organization. So they thought they were better than everybody. And that was just how they were. And this other sister was very much like she was on the other side of the tracks, like very humble, not very much money, was married, but her husband was not in the org. So like she would always come and bring her two boys to the hall without, you know, having her spouse there. So everybody was always like really trying to help her and trying to give to her and, you know, trying to be very sweet to her. But she was kind of like, it's her, you know, like the other side of the tracks kind of person. And you all know what I'm talking about. Like the witnesses are like that. We can't even lie. Hey, Shund. So, it's kind of odd for me to see them like on two separate occasions and this far apart that they are like hanging out with one another. It's just, I don't know, strange, weird. But I know that that sister with the one with the ponytail, she had become a pioneer, and that may be like the link to how they ended up, you know, hanging out with each other or whatever. So, anyways, they notice me, and so it's like the most uncomfortable experience. Like, I don't understand, and I know that you guys feel this way. I know that when anybody who's been shunned is around witnesses, we get like this energy, like, I don't know. It's just, it feels so gross. I don't know even how else to explain it, but it feels so gross. So I'm sitting there and I'm feeling so gross, right? And they're looking at me from the corner of their eye, and I'm looking at them from the corner of my eye, and I'm just feeling uncomfortable. Then my friend Jonathan gets there, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here because, you know, I just felt like gross, you know, and I was kind of like whispering, trying to tell him like the story, like what's going on, not the story, you know, but just saying like like they consider me to be shunned. And so they won't talk to me. And I kind of, you know, just told him about a little bit about it. And he's going like, whatever, like these people are crazy, like they're crazy. So, long story short, I was like just waiting for them to be finished eating and so they could get up and leave. And they finally were finished eating. And the one sister that I'm telling you is a pioneer, or she was the last I heard, she looked over at me and she smiled and she waved. And I waved at her and I smiled. But everybody else at the table, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Stuckity up pants, didn't like wave at all. They just like actually my son, who was graciously in the corner recording for me. Yes, I'm that mom. He was like sitting on the side, and I figured, well, they won't notice if he has the phone. I mean, they're going to notice me. So he was kind of like recording everything, and he's like, Mom, that guy just, when he was walking out, he gave you the dirtiest look. And I was like, what? But I was telling my friend Jonathan, I was like, after they all left, so Karish, or I just said it, oh, her name's Karish. Okay, I said it. She was the one that was really sweet and that smiled and waved at me. She turned around after everybody else had walked out and she was paying. She turned around and she went to leave a tip on the table, and she looked at me and she smiled again and she waved goodbye. And then they proceeded to go outside the door, where they stood like in a circle, all congregating, looking back. I know they were talking about me. I mean, like, how could you not be? I mean, you're like standing in a circle in front, and they're looking in and looking at each other and looking in and looking at each other. And I was like so tempted at that point to be like, and I told my friend Jonathan, I wonder what they would do if I just grabbed my phone, turned the camera on, walked out there and said, hey, how are you? Walked up, gave them hugs, been like, how you been? What's going on? How about that Australian Royal Commission and all those molestations? How do you feel about that? Is it cool that you guys are shunning me when I did nothing of the sort, and you go to the Kingdom Hall with all of these people in your organization and you talk to them and love them and hug them and, you know, whatever, and some of them are molesters? Like, how do you feel about that? That's what I wanted to say, but I just couldn't. I just didn't have the balls to do it. I wish I did, but I was like, I wanted just to get on and talk to you guys because I'm like, it feels gross. Like, that feels so gross. So if you have ever been in a situation where you've walked in and there are Jehovah's Witnesses there from your congregation that you used to go to, you are not alone feeling gross, because it feels gross. I don't even know how else to explain it. But let's see what's going on here. I don't have my other phone right now, so I'm actually on my Samsung. Let's see. which I'm surprised hasn't gone out. All messages visible. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's just see what's going on in the feed. I'm going to say hi to everybody. Hello, Linda. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. Gary, hello. Michelle, hello. Jean, hello. Shun, hey, how you doing? So let's see. It does. It feels so. Jean says it must have felt like weird. And oh, actually, she was talking to Linda. Let me see. Oh, did you do a video today, Linda? Was that Linda? Oh no, Shun. Wait, Linda. Am I getting this right? You did. Okay, I'm gonna go check that out. So, Happy New Year, everybody. Just wanted you to know, like, what had just happened. It's just so, it gets so crazy. It's so intense, that disgusting feeling that goes through your body when, whoops, I'm trying to turn that off so I can see. That energy that goes through your body when you run into people. And I just don't, I can't even explain it. I cannot even explain, like, how you feel, but you're not alone. It happens to all of us. I mean, I've been out for so long now, and it's been a really long time since I've seen anybody, like, you know, any of the witnesses that I actually know that I was actually close with. So I don't know, it just felt so ugly. That's the ugliest feeling. I wonder if that'll ever go away. I don't know, maybe as I like walk forward and I don't know, it's the ugliest feeling. The ugliest feeling to go into a place and there be people that you used to be very close with that won't even fully look at you, but they'll look at you from the corner of their eye. And, you know, they'll snicker about you and behind your back, but they don't have the nerve to, I mean, there wasn't an even like, even Jonathan was saying, like, it's so strange. Like, it seems like church people would want to greet you and be like, how have you been? You know, like, we miss you. Like, why don't you come back? Or, you know, not that I ever would, but I mean, show some kind of care and concern for their fellow brother or sister that they used to call that, you know, whatever. But nothing, like nothing, not even a full on look. It was like blatant from the corner of your eye. I think one of the girls that I used to, you know, take out as a teen, she was looking over, but it was also her parents that were sitting right there. So Jonathan made a good point. He was like, they probably won't say anything because they don't want to have repercussions, you know, because of the mom and dad that were sitting there, or, you know, they're all tied in, and the last thing anybody needs is to, you know, be talking to somebody they consider to be disfellowshipped. F you. That's what I feel about it. F you guys. But all right, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm going to post, it's just really raw video. It's not really like, I'm not saying anything. It's not, you know, I'm not really like narrating it or anything like that. It's just a raw video of, you'll get to see who I'm talking about. So I'll post that right now, and I hope you guys get a good laugh about, you know, just those faces because of what they were doing and who they represent. But Happy New Year to you all. Thank you for coming and watching this video of mine, and I will be talking to you very soon. Mwah, mwah. Thank you.